appropriate, appropriate, appropriation, appropriation, approximately, approximately, arch, arch, arise, arise, armament, armament, armed, armed, arms, arms, arouse, arouse, articulate, articulate, breeder, breeder, breeding, breeding, bride, bride, briefly, briefly, brigade, brigade, conscience, conscience, conscious, conscious, consecutive, consecutive, consensus, consensus, consent, consent, consequence, consequence, consequently, consequently, considerably, considerably, consolidate, consolidate, consistent, consistent, consistently, consistently, consideration, consideration, consolidation, consolidation, consortium, consortium, constabulary, constabulary, disposal, disposal, dispose, dispose, dispute, dispute, disquiet, disquiet, disrupt, disrupt, dissent, dissent, dissociate, dissociate, distinction, distinction, distinctly, distinctly, distinguish, distinguish, estimate, estimate, estimated, estimated, eternal, eternal, evacuate, evacuate, evaluation, evaluation, evasion, evasion, eve, eve, eventual, eventual, eventually, eventually, everyone, everyone, frantic, frantic, fraternal, fraternal, fraud, fraud, freely, freely, freezing, freezing, gravity, gravity, greenery, greenery, grieve, grieve, grievously, grievously, grill, grill, intensive, intensive, interdependence, interdependence, interdependent, interdependent, interfere, interfere, interference, interference, interim, interim, intermission, intermission, internal, internal, interpret, interpret, interruption, interruption, liable, liable, liaison, liaison, libel, libel, liberation, liberation, license, license, mortgage, mortgage, mostly, mostly, motive, motive, motorship, motorship, mold, mold, practically, practically, pray, pray, preach, preach, precarious, precarious, precaution, precaution, proceed, proceed, precisely, precisely, precision, precision, predecessor, predecessor, remand, remand, remarkable, remarkable, remarkably, remarkably, removal, removal, renaissance, renaissance, render, render, rendezvous, rendezvous, renew, renew, renewal, renewal, reopen, reopen, sometime, sometime, somewhat, somewhat, sophisticated, sophisticated, south, south, southern, southern, sovereign, sovereign, spacecraft, spacecraft, span, span, specialize, specialize, specially, specially, species, species, specific, specific, specifically, specifically, specify, specify, specimen, specimen, Ted, Ted, teenage, teenage, telecast, telecast, temperament, temperament, temple, temple, temporarily, temporarily, temporary, temporary, tempt, tempt, tend, tend, tension, tension, tentative, tentative, tenure, tenure, termination, termination, terrace, terrace, terrify, terrify, untrue, untrue, unusually, unusually, unwise, unwise, uphold, uphold, urban, urban,